I never thought I'd be sitting in my car outside my sister-in-law Amanda's house, trying to stop my hands from shaking as I listened to my children crying in the backseat. My twins, Emma and Noah, both 8 years old, were clutching their report cards, mostly B's with a few C's, while tears streamed down their faces. "Mommy, is it true?" Emma's voice cracked. "Does Daddy really not love us because we're not as smart as Josh and Lily?" My heart shattered. I turned around to face them, taking in their red-rimmed eyes and trembling lips. Just 2 hours ago, they'd been excited to show their report cards to their aunt and cousins during our weekly family dinner. Now, they looked defeated. "Of course not, sweethearts," I said firmly, though inside I was seething. "Your daddy loves you more than anything in this world." Aunt Amanda had no right to say those things. The afternoon had started normally enough. Amanda had invited us over, as she did every Thursday, to have dinner and let the cousins play together. Her children, Josh and Lily, were the same age as my twins. While the kids usually got along well enough, Amanda had always been competitive about their achievements. But today, she crossed a line I never thought she would. When the kids pulled out their report cards, something they'd been eager to share since getting them at school, Amanda's reaction was immediate and cruel. "Oh," she'd said, her voice dripping with false concern as she compared the cards. "Josh and Lily got straight A's again. Emma, Noah, these grades are..." She pursed her lips, shaking her head. "No wonder your father works such long hours. It must be hard for Michael to come home and face such disappointment." I frozen in place, watching in horror as my children's faces crumpled. Before I could react, Amanda continued, speaking to her own kids but loud enough for everyone to hear. "This is why your Uncle Michael spends more time at the office than at home. Some parents just can't bear to watch their children underperform." The worst part was how she'd said it, with that sympathetic smile she always wore when delivering her cruelest comments, as if she was doing us a favor by pointing out our shortcomings. Now, sitting in my car, I pulled out my phone and did something I'd never done before. I recorded my children's tears and their broken questions about their father's love. Michael needed to see this. He needed to understand exactly what his sister had done. "Mommy?" Noah's quiet voice pulled me from my thoughts. "Are we stupid?" "No, baby," I said firmly, turning around again to face them both. "You are both incredibly smart, kind, and wonderful children. And you know what? Being smart isn't just about grades. It's about how you treat others, how you solve problems, how you view the world. Your father and I are so proud of you both." Emma wiped her eyes. "But Josh and Lily always get better grades." "Everyone learns differently," I explained, trying to keep my voice steady despite my anger. "Some people are good at taking tests. Others are great at art or music or sports. You, Emma, can build amazing things with your Legos that even I can't figure out. And Noah, you remember every detail about animals that you raid. That's intelligence too." My phone buzzed. A text from Michael. "Running late at the office again. Sorry, love you all." I stared at the message, Amanda's words echoing in my head. For years, she'd been making subtle digs about our parenting, our children's achievements, even our marriage. She'd always done it when Michael wasn't around, and I tried to keep the peace for his sake, but using his long work hours to convince our children their father didn't love them. That was the final straw. With trembling fingers, I typed, "We need to talk. It's about Amanda and the kids. Important." His response was immediate. "Everything ok? Should I come home now?" "No," I replied. "Finish work. But we need to have a family meeting tomorrow. All of us." I put my phone away and started the car, my mind already forming a plan. What Amanda didn't know was that Michael's long hours weren't about avoiding his children. They were about something else entirely, something we'd been keeping quiet about for months. Tomorrow, everything would change. "How about we stop for ice cream?" I suggested, watching their faces brighten slightly in the rearview mirror, "and then maybe we can video call Daddy before bedtime." Both kids nodded eagerly, and I pulled away from Amanda's house, my resolve strengthening with every mile. For years, I kept quiet about Amanda's behavior, trying to maintain family harmony, but attacking my children's sense of self-worth and their relationship with their father, that wasn't just crossing a line, it was demolishing it. Tomorrow at the family meeting, Michael would finally see his sister's true colors, and the secret he'd been keeping about those long hours at work, it would change everything. Michael came home early for once, arriving just as I finished making breakfast. The kids were still asleep. They'd been exhausted from crying last night. Even after our ice cream trip and video call with their dad, they'd been subdued, asking to sleep in our bed for the first time in years. I listened to the recording 3 times, Michael said quietly, pulling me into a hug. His voice was tight with controlled anger. I can't believe she'd say that to them. Using my work hours too, he shook his head, his jaw clenched. They think you don't love them, I whispered into his shoulder. Your own sister made our children doubt your love. I've texted Amanda and her husband Tom. They'll be here at 10. Michael pulled back, his eyes determined. It's time everyone knew the truth. The sound of small feet padding down the stairs made us both turn. Emma and Noah stood in the doorway, still in their pajamas, looking uncertain. Daddy? Emma's voice was small. You're home early. Michael crossed the kitchen in 3 strides, kneeling down to gather both children in his arms. I am, and I need to tell you both something very important. He pulled back just enough to look them in the eyes. I love you more than anything in this world. Nothing, not grades, not test scores, nothing could ever change that. Noah sniffled. But Aunt Amanda said. Aunt Amanda was wrong, Michael said firmly. And today we're going to talk about why I've been working so much. It's not because I'm disappointed in you. It's because I'm so incredibly proud of you both. The doorbell rang at exactly 10 o'clock. Amanda swept in like she owned the place, Tom following behind with an apologetic look. I noticed she was carrying what looked like educational pamphlets. I'm so glad you called this meeting, Amanda announced, settling onto our couch. I've been meaning to talk to you about the children's academic performance. I've found some excellent tutoring programs that could help them catch up to Josh and Lily's level. I saw Michael's hands clench into fists, but his voice remained steady. Actually, Amanda, we're here to talk about what you said to my children yesterday. Amanda waved dismissively. I was just being honest. As their aunt, it's my duty to help them understand the importance of academic excellence. Josh and Lily work so hard for their grades, while Emma and Noah. Stop. Michael's voice cut through her words like a knife. Just stop. He pulled out his phone, pressed play, and the sound of our children crying filled the room. Amanda's cruel words, followed by Emma and Noah's heartbroken questions about their father's love. Tom's face darkened as he listened. Amanda, you said what? But Michael wasn't done. He reached for his briefcase and pulled out a thick folder. You want to talk about academic performance, sister? Let's talk. For the past 6 months, I've been working late not because I'm disappointed in my children, but because I've been taking extra consulting jobs. Want to know why? He opened the folder and spread out several documents on the coffee table. They were medical evaluations, educational assessments, and a contract with one of the city's most prestigious learning specialists. Emma and Noah have dyslexia, Michael announced. Those long hours? They were to pay for comprehensive testing and specialized tutoring. We didn't want to say anything until we had a proper educational plan in place. They work twice as hard as most kids to achieve those B's and C's, and I've never been prouder. Amanda's face had gone completely pale. Tom was staring at her with a mixture of shock and disappointment. But, Amanda stammered, but Josh and Lily are wonderful students, Michael cut in. And I'm happy for them. But my children? They're incredible in their own ways. Emma can look at a jumbled pile of Legos and see a masterpiece waiting to happen. Noah remembers every animal fact he's ever heard and can explain complex concepts in ways that make sense to other kids. They're kind, creative, and resilient, especially when dealing with an aunt who seems determined to tear them down. I wasn't. Amanda tried to defend herself, but Tom interrupted. Yes, you were. His voice was quiet but firm. And it stops now. I glanced toward the stairs and saw Emma and Noah sitting on the steps, listening. Their faces showed a mixture of relief and understanding, finally hearing an explanation for why reading and writing had always been so challenging for them. Michael followed my gaze and smiled at our children. Come here, you two. They rushed down the stairs and into their father's arms. Michael hugged them tight, then turned back to his sister. The tutoring starts next week. We found specialists who work specifically with dyslexic children. And you know what? Those B's and C's our children earned, knowing how hard they worked for them makes those grades worth more than any A. The silence that followed Michael's revelation was deafening. Amanda sat frozen on our couch, the tutoring pamphlets she'd brought now lying forgotten on the coffee table. Tom had moved to stand behind her, his hand gripping the back of the couch so tightly his knuckles were white. 6 months, Tom said quietly. You've been comparing our kids to Emma and Noah for 6 months, knowing they were struggling, making them feel inferior. He shook his head, disappointment evident in his voice. What kind of example are we setting for Josh and Lily? As if on cue, we heard the front door open. Josh and Lily walked in. They'd been playing at the neighbor's house during the meeting. They stopped short when they felt the tension in the room. Mom? Lily asked, looking uncertain. What's wrong? Amanda opened her mouth, then closed it again. For once, she seemed at a loss for words. Come here, kids, Tom called to his children. We need to have a family discussion about kindness and understanding. Josh looked at his cousins, who were still huddled close to Michael. Is this about yesterday? When Mom said those things about Uncle Michael not loving Emma and Noah, Tom's head snapped toward Amanda. They heard that too. We all heard it, Josh continued, showing more emotional intelligence than his mother had. And it wasn't right. Emma helped me with my art project last week when I couldn't figure it out. She's really good at seeing how things fit together. And Noah explains science stuff better than our teacher sometimes. Lily nodded eagerly. Yeah, and they help us build the best forts. Who cares about grades? I watched Amanda's face crumple as her own children demonstrated the empathy and understanding she'd been lacking. She looked at her hands, then at her brother, tears forming in her eyes. Michael, she started, then turned to Emma and Noah. Kids, I am so sorry. What I said was cruel and wrong. I got so caught up in this idea of academic perfection that I forgot what really matters. Which is, Michael prompted, his arms still protectively around our children. Family, Amanda whispered. Love. Supporting each other. I've been horrible, haven't I? Yes. Tom answered before anyone else could. But acknowledging it is the first step to changing. The next hour was filled with honest conversations. Josh and Lily shared stories about their cousins' strengths. Emma's incredible spatial awareness and creativity, Noah's gift for explaining complex topics. Tom talked about his own brother, who had struggled with dyslexia undiagnosed, and how he'd gone on to become a successful architect. Finally, Amanda turned to her niece and nephew. Emma, Noah, I need you to know something. Your dad doesn't work late because he's disappointed in you. He works late because he loves you so much he'd do anything to help you succeed. And those B's and C's you earned, knowing how hard you worked for them makes them even more impressive than straight A's. The twins looked at their father, who nodded in confirmation. That's right. And now that you'll be getting the right support, things will get easier. Not because you need to get perfect grades, but because we want learning to be less frustrating for you. Can we still have our Thursday dinners? Noah asked quietly. I like playing with Josh and Lily. Of course you can, Tom answered, giving his wife a meaningful look. But things will be different now. No more grade comparisons, no more competition. Just family enjoying time together. As if to prove his point, Josh turned to his cousins. Want to go build a fort in the backyard? Lily and I brought our new blankets. The 4 children raced outside, their laughter floating back through the open window. Amanda watched them go, wiping tears from her eyes. I have a lot to make up for, she said softly. Yes, you do, Michael agreed. But that's what family does. We give each other the chance to do better, to be better. 3 months later, the change in our family dynamic was remarkable. Thursday dinners became a highlight of the week rather than a source of dread. Amanda threw herself into learning about dyslexia, even joining a support group for parents of children with learning differences. The kids flourished. With proper support and accommodations, Emma and Noah's confidence soared. Their grades improved somewhat, but more importantly, they stopped feeling ashamed of their learning differences. Josh and Lily became their biggest cheerleaders, bragging about their cousins' achievements in areas beyond academics. As for Amanda, she finally learned that being a good aunt meant celebrating her niece and nephew for who they were, not who she thought they should be. The competition was over, replaced by genuine love and understanding. Last week, she hung all 4 children's latest art projects on her fridge. Emma's intricate Lego design sketches right next to Lily's perfect math test. Different strengths, equal pride. And Michael? He still works late sometimes, but now it's just 1 evening a week. For a parent support group he started for families dealing with learning differences. Our children may have inherited his dyslexia, but they also inherited his determination, resilience, and capacity for love. Sometimes the strongest family bonds are forged in the moments when we learn to accept and celebrate our differences rather than compete over them.